Let's go right now to Congresswoman Lisa McClain of Michigan, her take on all of this. Congressman, always good to have you. Let me ask you what you make of this. The president-elect has been moving very quickly, assembling a team that he hopes for quick approval. But this Treasury position has apparently been a little bit more complicated than thought. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I trust President Trump. President Trump's picks, I think, at times will be a little bit unconventional because 76 million people voted and kind of gave us a mandate that they're tired with the status quo. So I trust that he will make the right decisions. And I think at the end of the day, everyone needs a fair shot. That's why we're going to have Senate confirmations here pretty quickly.
Among the controversial appointments, to your point, Congresswoman, Matt Gaetz, some of your colleagues in the House have concerns about him as well. But of course, this is a Senate matter. Do you think the ethics report should be shared with the Senate going through this process?
Speaker Johnson said that he's not going to release the report because it would set bad precedents, and I agree with him. He's a private citizen right now, and I think he's focused on getting the AG job, and we'll see whether he can get approved during this in the Senate. But what I can say about Matt Gaetz is I sat with him on HASC. He is extremely intelligent, he's poised, he's articulate, and he has a good command of what's going on.
A lot is made, as you know, Congressman, about making these appointments something you can do in recess, and so you don't have to go through a long, drawn-out process. Some have a problem with that, saying, at the very least, they have to be properly vetted. This can't be done, as if it was some sort of a sub-appointment. What do you make of that?
Yeah, my hope is that everyone gets vetted and they get a fair opportunity with the Senate. So I think we'll see that. I don't know what will happen, but my gut tells me we'll go through regular order with the Senate, but we'll see what the Senate decides to do.
It's interesting. This is, and to your point at the beginning, ultimately the Donald Trump's call to make. And I'm wondering, and you know him fairly well, that he might bristle when the likes, of Howard Lutnick and some others are coming out there all but campaigning for the job, or that's the rap against him. Elon Musk publicly pressuring the president-elect to pick Lutnick. Again, I'm not aware of the intrigue. The response seems to have been from Donald Trump, I'm going to expand the list of possibilities. Is there something to that?
Yeah, I think President Trump is going to explore all of his options to pick the best person for the job. But at the end of the day, I think President Trump will listen to input, but it's clearly his call at the end of the day. The only caveat that I would make is be prepared for some unconventional picks, because I think it's going to take some unconventional wisdom to get us out of the mess that we're in right now.
Let me switch gears to something the House is going to be vital because, any talk of tax cuts, spending, it starts in the House. So the Senate might get a lot of the fanfare picking on these cabinet positions. But you guys are going to really get the tax cut ball rolling. And we're told the president and his advisors want to go big, that they don't want something small, and they want it in the first 100 days. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the last thing the American people need right now is a tax increase. So I think what you're going to see, and we've already been working on it with Chairman Jason Smith and the Ways and Means Committee, is we are going to try and extend the Trump tax cuts. The last thing we need, the American people need, is more taxes. And I think if you give the American people and extend these tax cuts, they will do more and a better job with the money in their pocket than giving it to a bloated government. So I'm excited that we're going to see some quick movement on these tax cuts.
If I can switch gears a little bit to President Biden, as you've probably heard, Congresswoman, he is looking at giving Ukrainian forces the use of weapons that they can go ahead and use to attack positions in Russia. A couple of other countries, I believe Germany and France, are going along with that. Others say this ups the ante and the war in Ukraine. What do you say?
What I say is I don't think it makes a lot of sense right now for President Biden to be making drastic policy changes. Why don't you just continue to do what you've done until we hand the reins off to President Trump? I think it's very dangerous to be playing politics right now, so close to the transfer of power. So I don't think it's a good move for President Biden to do this. Let's just pause and continue on a path that we're on right now.
On that issue, I don't know if you're among the Republicans who say, you got to do something with Vladimir Putin to make Vladimir Putin leave. And one of the big qualities of Donald Trump, he's a very transactional, business-minded type of a leader, and he might try to find a means by which Vladimir Putin could indeed retreat from Ukraine, and that includes giving him land that he's already taken over in Ukraine. How do you feel about that?
What I feel is I think we'll follow the president's lead on that. I trust the president, right? Under his last term, there were no wars, and I think the American people trust him to bring peace around the globe. That's what our hope is, and if anyone can do it, I believe President Trump can do it. I don't want to sit here and tell the president what he should do or what he shouldn't do. I think everything is on the table, and I want to give him the best negotiating hand to bring peace around the world that we can possibly give President Trump.
Congresswoman, thank you so much for sharing some time with us. I know you've got a crazy schedule. Lisa McClain of Michigan.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.